Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 37th official Kessel Run Comics podcast. This is your host, Macedellic, and co-host,
Ske11y Boy.
And as always, we're here again this week with some Chom entertainment, some awesome top five. Like, this pile of books we got this week is something else.
Yeah, first pile that we have,
Agreed on, hit on all cylinders for the most part.
Mostly agreed on everything.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you got, your, what is it? Why am I missing my car terminology? That was going to be so good for you, too. It's like a V8 and a V6. But a V8 is 8-cylinder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we're hitting on, 7 cylinders today. One of them's skipping a little bit, but other than that, we got it.
Cool. That was almost a good reference.
Yeah, see, it was because I, fumbled and bumbled,
Yeah.
But it's okay. But, ladies and gentlemen, so we have, like I said, a killer top 5 this week. Also, like we already mentioned, we really agreed on most of these books, so I'm ready. When you are, you want to dive into this?
Sure, give me that number 5. And at number 5, we have Batman Beyond number 47. And this is a book that would not have been on the list if it wasn't for Mac's dad. Mac's dad, he told Mac that I would like the book, and I'm not a big Batman fan. When I was little, Batman Beyond was my favorite Batman just because I like sci-fi stuff, and if I was going to like Batman, of course it's going to be future Batman. And so I did love the animated movie and had action figures for Batman Beyond and all that, opposed to other Batman. But I read this book and that last page, oh my god, Skeets is in it. I'm more excited about Skeets being in something than Booster for once.
The Booster Gold, ladies and gentlemen.
We had Booster Gold for that whole Harley Quinn arc, but never Skeets. And Matt
that was kind of
out,
crazy.
I do point out if Skeets isn't there because I love Skeets. He's just as important as Booster Gold.
I was about to say, according to you, the Booster Gold fan, Skeets is always supposed to be there. And since you feel that way, that's now made me feel that way.
I mean, he should. He's the one that always gets Booster out.
I got you.
So, what's Booster without Skeets? How is he going to get away?
Right.
He doesn't have a plan B. Plan B is always Skeets, does it?
Or it's Plan S for Skeets.
Yeah. but I love that part of the book. The rest of it, this book I could not follow, do not understand who Zero is.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that this book is the conclusion for a story arc. So what we're talking about Booster Gold being in it, Booster Gold's in the very last page, last 2 pages.
And the last page.
It very much alludes to, in the next story arc, Booster Gold's going to be a focal point and a main character.
And that's what I'm excited for. I did not care about the rest of the story. Besides, the whole, this is Ra's al Ghul's plan,
Yeah.
Because I do like him.
Yeah, he's badass.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, but then it just wasn't interesting enough for me to care.
There was a lot of, not lore as in, they're bringing up stuff and making references to stuff that you wouldn't understand as just a typical, C, D-list Batman fan. If you're not a diehard, you can still follow along with this, but because this is kind of a next generation, since for those of you who don't know, Batman Beyond is the Batman from the future, that so many people are grown up. Damian Wayne in the current
40 years in the future.
Yeah, Damian Wayne in the current comic books is 13, maybe 15, something like that. But in this, he's probably a 30, 35-year-old man. And Barbara Gordon is instead of being a 20-year-old woman, she's probably a 45 or 50-year-old woman or something like that.
And, you get to see a lot of characters and not their limelight anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just different.
It's interesting to see how the torch has been passed in this book to all the other characters. And, of course, anybody who's been reading Batman Beyond, that's something that is totally not foreign to you. You guys know that, these characters have been helping out and doing their part in the Bat family for a while. But just being, like us who don't regularly read Batman Beyond, it was kind of cool to see the whole family, inner work together and kind of, get past this obstacle.
Definitely. I feel that. What would you rate this book?
This book for me is probably a 3. I would put it at a 2.5, but I did enjoy Booster action, and Booster gives it that extra half.
That's crazy. I was gonna give it a 2.5.
Okay.
Just because it's got Booster, and that's it.
Right.
For me,
Yeah.
It's got confirmed Booster for the next issue.
I really like another thing that I just want to add here at the very end before we go on to number 4. I liked how easy this was to read, and I don't mean how easy it was to understand what was going on in the story, because that's an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was easy to read, as in they're not using these giant vocabulary words, stuff that kids won't understand, and it's not stuff that really will make you bog down and get stuck. You know, you're just really reading each word bubble very quickly and at a decent pace.
Yeah, and that was nice because there was a lot of word bubbles.
Yes.
Zero, the main villain for Batman Beyond in this arc, does so much talking.
That man's basically like Syndrome. He's
monologuing.
monologuing.
Yeah, he's consistently monologuing every panel. And so it was wonderful to be able to just read it.
Yeah.
And be done with it. Like he might talk a lot, but it was at a 4th grade reading level, so it was okay.
Yeah, true that.
So what we got for number 4?
Ladies and gentlemen, number 4 on our list is a number 2. This is Batman 3 Jokers, number 2 of 3. This book was I'm not going to say a letdown altogether for me, but this was one of those that I definitely feel like the number 1 out of this 3-part series was a way better read than this one.
Yeah, for me, this book did other things for me better than it did number 1, but number 1's story was way better. Of course, I like this book more than I like number 1 just because it had Red Hood in it.
Right.
And Red Hood's my favorite Robin. He always will be. Just love Jason Todd.
Is he definitely your favorite member of the Bat family?
Yeah, he is
Okay.
100% the best Bat, if you ask me. Just, I don't know, I just love him. I relate to him the most.
Yeah.
He just resonates with
I mean,
me.
I feel you. I know how much you like the boy.
Yeah, and so, of course, I love this book. Hey, Project Clean Lift. Do you know who that is?
I do not. But hey, like, I love the support.
Yeah, what's up? But what I was saying about this book with Red Hood, if you're a Red Hood fan, then this book hits on Red Hood on so many levels. And that part of the story I did love. The rest of it didn't really like, honestly.
I feel that.
But the parts that focused around Red Hood, I feel like were very important and were the most, could hold your attention the best.
Definitely,
you know, it
yeah.
had the most going on.
Oh,
when he
yeah.
was on there.
Yeah, my eyes were glued to the page whenever it was the...
It's Philip.
Oh, got you. Sweet. What's going on, Philip? It's nice to see you, brother. But, shoot. Red Hood, I feel like the way this is going to end is, you know, I don't see it really ending with the 3rd issue. You know, I see this, if anything, being something that they're going to, like, plant a seed again. Like, at the end of number 3, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we might pick this back up in 2 years and do a 3 Jokers Part 2, or, you know, do the Wrath of 3 Jokers, or, you know, something else. But
Do you think they're going to replace the dead Joker?
definitely.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, do you think that's going to be the seed?
It would be interesting for it to be the seed, but I've already read some stuff from next week's Batman 100, and like he may have done some stuff in that issue that I would love to know how DC's continuity really, like, you know, forms together, because is 3 Jokers in the same universe, or is it canon the same way the Batman ongoing title is? You know, that's what I'd love to know.
Philip said he needs to pick it up. Yeah, it's been a great read, both of them.
Yeah, and like we were saying, like the 3rd one, I doubt will conclude and really...
You think it's going to be like White Knight and there's just going to be more?
Yeah, I really do. Like, I could totally see this being something that Jeff Johns, you know, really stretches out and makes almost kind of its own standalone mythos. Like, the whole 3 Jokers.
I wouldn't mind that if we got more Red Hood.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to do the 3 main characters, or the 3 main protagonists in this series are going to be Batman, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, and Red Hood, then
Yeah.
I definitely think you should keep that as long as nobody dies. And I can't see anybody, or at least those 3 dying.
Because that's a really good team, just like in the Deceased Unkillables.
Yeah.
That was the team, you know? Well, it was Barbara Gordon, Red Hood, and...
James Gordon.
Yeah, and James Gordon. But still, just Barbara Gordon and Red Hood, that's a phenomenal team. For any of these, like, weird, really grimy stories, because they both have a grimy past. You know?
Right, yeah.
And it just... But they're completely opposites, and it's just a wonderful dynamic.
It is
And
really
I would
interesting.
love to see that grow. What would you give this one?
This one for me is probably like...
What's up, MJ?
This one would be a 3.5 for me.
Same. I would give this a solid 3.5. This book was amazing.
I want to say... even though I'm going with a 3.5, I think that's what I gave number 1, even though I technically said I didn't enjoy number 2 as much as I enjoyed number 1. But I'm still going to stay at 3.5. I don't think this deserves, just based on that fact, this being a 3. Because this is still knock out of the park.
I think I gave number 1 a 3 just because it didn't have that much Red Hood in it.
Yeah.
So I'll give them that half a point this time. They made up for it.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got your wish this time. Well, what do we have for number 3, Jacob? This is one of your picks.
This is one of my picks, and the only reason I picked this is because I've seen it, I thought conspiracy theories, and then I seen it was James Tinian, the 3rd book.
4th.
Oh, he's the 4th?
He's IV, baby.
It's not on there.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the 4th. He's like, what is it called? Oh, no!
Dang, I do not like the new stand. As soon as I seen the new stand, I was like, it's gonna fall.
Did it really? Like, did it do it because of the books?
Yeah. I think it's because the other ones are like tilted, kind of.
Yeah, try
But this one's
it
not.
see what happens.
But it's the Department of Truth, and this book is, if you like conspiracy theories, then this is the book for you. This covers on so many conspiracy theories, one after another, and the whole premise of the book is a department, a actual U.S. sanctioned department, and it's the Department of Truth, and they keep conspiracy theories. They make sure none of it's ever true, and just keep people like trying to discover the real truth. That's their whole job. They hide it, really.
Yeah.
You know, their whole job is to hide the truth, but really they have to show people that no, this is how the world is.
Yeah, imagine it being like Area 51, but for conspiracy theories. Like, they just keep everything kind of self-contained and don't want any of it to come out. And it's funny because you find out, like, by the end of the book that conspiracies have more impact on reality than meets the eye.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that's really like what should be the take home from this book. But just the fact that and I love how they used flat Earth.
Flat Earth was interesting because that's one of the few conspiracy theories that I've been like, bruh, that one is retarded. Like, that makes absolutely no sense.
Well, see, I think flat Earth was a good choice because if you look at the grand scheme of like conspiracy theories, flat Earth is the most wholesome of all of them.
Yeah,
because it's just the Earth is flat. They're just denying science.
Yeah,
you know, it's not like a JFK conspiracist or anything like that. There's no like murder or anything happening. They're just like, I don't think the Earth is as round as they say.
Yeah.
And they turned that into a whole problem. Like they took that and made it like Antifa level, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just nutty. But I really love this book. I'm ready to see what they do with the rest of it. And boy, I can't believe who's the leader.
I like that this is an ongoing series too, because when I saw it solicited, even though something like this generally is an ongoing series, for me, I was just like, this seems like maybe an idea that would be more used in a miniseries. But with the potential, after reading this number 1, I'm like, okay, this makes so much more sense to be an ongoing series, but how high will it count up?
Well, see, you say that, but think about how many things about, like, secret organizations start off as something small, but then they just branch.
Yeah.
I really think about it. Like, Men in Black. You know, how many Men in Black movies are there? There was a new one. Like, this year, wasn't there? Or last year.
Yeah, I think it was 19.
The one that had, what's his name? That played Thor in it.
Oh, gosh. Liam Hemsworth?
Yeah. You know, you had that one that just came out, and those movies started in, like, the 90s then when we were little.
Wait, no. Was it the guy who plays Thor?
Yeah.
So it's Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Chris Hemsworth.
I was about to say, Liam is his younger brother who plays in, like, Twilight. Or not Twilight, but, God, what is it called? Oh, it was the one that's, like, Divergent. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't really
Shoot.
I know what
Bro,
you're talking
but it's,
about,
like, super popular.
Yeah, but still, the Divergent series is what it's called.
The Divergent series.
The actor or anything. I haven't seen those movies.
Yeah, Liam, Chris Hemsworth's younger brother plays one of the main characters in that, so that's why I accidentally said Liam Hemsworth. I don't know why I was thinking about that movie, especially when you said Thor, you know? What, did MJ say something?
MJ said that the Area 51 must have the Omnitrix.
Whoa, dude, if the Omnitrix was in Area 51, I'd have to break in there and get my Alien X.
God, boy. But,
Did we do ratings on that?
It's a 3.5 for me.
Okay.
Because I think it could. It's not the best number 1 I've ever read, but it's solid. You know.
Yeah, that'd be a bold claim saying it's the best number 1 you've ever read, because we've read lots of number 1s.
Yeah, and like sometimes I do get like that. Where this isn't even one that I'm gonna say is so good yet that I'll hope it gets like bought out by somebody.
Right.
You know, a lot of number ones for the series, like, that's my thing is, if I could see this as a TV adaptation, then I'm going to give it a higher rating.
Yeah.
But this isn't something that I know could be that yet, so.
Yeah. You need a little more, like, confidence in it before we start giving it that type of grandeur. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am introducing number 2 on our list, and this is our joint pick. This is Strange Academy number 3, featuring on the front cover, the boy, Doyle Dormammu. What do you think about young Doyle?
I think Doyle is cool, but he's no Eric.
Whoa.
And I talked about that
Eric
the
is
whole
pretty
time
dope.
I was reading this book. I'm Team Eric over Doyle. At first, I was Team Doyle.
Well, they both got crushes over Emily Bright. I mean, I guess it's just our last name, right?
But, God, I just really... Eric is so much cooler. I think he...
Well, Eric is supposed to be the cool guy of the class.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess.
he's the badass.
I wouldn't say he's the badass.
Well, he thinks he's the badass.
He's just the most, like...
outspoken
Yeah.
and, like, outgoing.
Yeah, he's just the most, like, looking to do
Confident. Yeah. Like, yeah. He's the man. And he knows he's the man. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the type of people who get cocky and get confident. Is the people who are the man, but they know they're the man. It's kind of like also with really good-looking girls. Like, really good-looking girls who know they're hot. Like, bro, like, you can't tell
Mark
them.
Pallet.
You can't tell them anything. Oh, it's my Aunt Heather.
Oh,
Hey, Aunt Heather. But about this book, what would you say was your favorite single scene from this book, or favorite single moment from this book?
I didn't tell you what it was.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm
When we were
asking.
reading. See, I'm glad you asked that. It was when Miss Hazel was doing the stuff with Doyle and the voodoo girl.
Yeah.
She was only named in the first book, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think so.
But when the voodoo girl, like, turned trans kill on her, and the woman was like, "Oh no! Oh God, you're trans kill," and she was like, "Yeah, so we'll be leaving."
Yeah, I have no idea what that means, because
Me
she was
either.
speaking in another language.
Yeah, she started.
And I honestly think it was something like Haitian or something like that.
That's
Just
what I was gonna say. It was Haitian.
Yeah.
Just because she was speaking that tongue.
Yeah,
Her
man.
eyes turned white.
Yeah, honestly, that scene reminded me so much of Storm. When the white, like, her eyes just glazed over and kind of became white, I was like, oh no.
See, you say that, but that's like the classic voodoo thing in movies too.
Yeah.
It's like when someone's like getting possessed by voodoo
Yeah, like
spirits.
channeling it.
Yeah, their eyes turn smoky.
I mean,
like
that's
a
an
foggy
awesome
light.
effect. I love
Yeah,
that.
It's neat compared to just normal white and stuff like that. You know that they have like a cloudy effect.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, ooh, she's really getting it.
So your favorite scene was whenever the older woman was, like, doing the stuff with Doyle, but, like, what specifically?
Philip wants to know where he should start with Star Wars comics. He said he's been thinking about jumping in.
With Star Wars comics, I would suggest I could hook you up with a book called Empire Ascendant #1, which kind of ties in the stuff, a couple of months ago, like the old Star Wars series, like the Volume 1 of Dr. Aphra, the Volume 2 of Star Wars, and like the old Vader series. It links all of those old Volume 1s to the old Volume 2s to like the stuff that just restarted recently. So I could hook you up with that one shot. It's like $5.99, and if you liked the stories in that, then I think you definitely like to jump on to the Star Wars #1s. And I have all the Star Wars books like here on out through the first story arc. Some of them are on, like, Star Wars is on issue 6, Vader's on 5, Bounty Hunter's on 5, and Aphra's on 4. So, and I have all of those back issues. So if you really want to jump in, dive in, fella.
And if you want someone who's not a huge Star Wars fan's opinion,
Yes.
who has read most of those books that were just stated,
Facts.
they've mostly been on the podcast.
Yeah.
I would say start off with Bounty Hunters or start off with Darth Vader. In my opinion, those have been the best two. As someone that doesn't really like Star Wars but still understands what's going on with it, those were just the best two in my opinion.
I think that is the best recommendation for people, no offense, Mr. Phillip, of your age, though, that are from the generation with my dad, because my dad personally thinks he hasn't read the Dr. Aphra series, but he read Star Wars, Vader, and Bounty Hunter, and he says Vader and Bounty Hunter are knock out of the park good, while Star Wars is your run-of-the-mill, and he hasn't even tried Dr. Aphra, like I said.
He asked if you have the Darth Maul miniseries with Cad Bane.
I do not have the full miniseries, but I have Cad Bane's first appearance.
So.
Yep.
There you go, Mr. Phillip.
But back on Strange Academy. So, My favorite scene in this, you were saying your favorite scene was whenever she like basically got her to like let go of Emily Bright. Well, what'd you think about like Emily was getting ready to fight that woman? Like she straight up charged her magic in her hand, like the hand that Miss Hazel was holding. I was like, whoa, is this about to be a throwdown?
I don't like that Emily's doing that.
I like that Emily is kind of doing
it. She's doing it too much, in my opinion.
What, just using her powers?
Yeah, she's using it to the degree of like. This is a really weird like comparison, but there are certain kind of people like in the gun world that open carry, and like anytime there's any kind of like scuffle or anything, they're always like, huh.
Yeah.
You know? Like at the ready to shoot somebody.
Right.
And she's acting like that. You know, anytime there's any threat, she's like, hold on, I'm magical, you know?
Yeah, let me throw up like the sparks around my hand.
Yeah, like let me hit you with the Razzle Dazzle.
Pretty much.
And like I don't like it. She's just like, and she's in a very magic heavy area.
Yeah.
You know? So like people know what she's doing.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're saying she should definitely be more low key about it. Like not just don't be out here.
Yeah. Like obviously you're walking around with demons and Doyle Dormammu. Everyone knows you're magical.
Right. One of my favorite parts was whenever they end up having to protect their classmate.
Yeah.
Their classmates were getting jumped by those older dudes. And what Emily did there,
that
I like
cool.
that decision
that
better.
Cool.
Because, you know, she was going to go in.
Yeah.
Like, and then her other classmates were like, all right, like, chill, you know, we can find something else. And she was like, you know what? You're right. Like, we don't have to harm these people. We can scare the crap out of them, though.
Yeah.
And
they
like,
said use the Emperor.
Use the Emperor? For what?
I don't know. That's all he said.
Use the Emperor for what, MJ? I don't know what you're talking about, my friend.
But I did really like how she used it there. You know, like a psychological horror thing.
Yeah.
Rather than just being like, hey, I can blow you up. Because, I mean...
She probably can.
Doyle could just, like, dame them. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, really...
To the dark dimension.
Yeah. I mean, he's Doyle. He could just be like, okay.
Bye, guys. Yeah, like in issue number 2, whenever somebody opened the portal up underneath their feet and they just fell into hell.
It was a part 3 stand.
Oh, got you. Oh, yeah, I just watched that the other day. The Emperor and the Empress, like in JoJo's. So what's your rating on number 2?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. I'd give it a 4 too. I've really enjoyed I've enjoyed every issue of Strange Academy, and now I'm always looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, like if you guys aren't reading Strange Academy, I would definitely say get on it.
Yeah.
If you like anything magical or mystical, it really covers all the bases. Because you have the ancient ones, you have Asgardians, you have frost giants. It really covers all the bases. You have 2 voodoo people. Because what's the teacher?
Brother Voodoo.
Yeah, Brother Voodoo, and then the girl in the class, and
she's got, like I said,
she's powerful.
In both the last issue and in this issue, every time that she becomes, you know, the focal point or like the real attention of the panels, the attention gets pulled away by either another student or by the writer himself kind of gets away from her really quick. And so I feel like there's more to that specific character's story that's going to tie into the bigger class at large.
I don't think it will tie into the bigger class. I think she might just have like a really like
dark
monumental
background
story.
Yeah.
You know? Like something's gonna happen and she's gonna be like, okay guys, let me go ahead and break it down for you. I know how to handle this. My mom's a demon, you know, just some mess like that, and it's just gonna be crazy.
I feel like the other thing we could look into about her character though is you remember the one scene in that she had said
MJ says it's Dr. Voodoo.
Dr. Voodoo? No, it's
I
know
Voodoo.
It's Brother Voodoo.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound right. It's definitely not Dr. Voodoo.
But yeah, Google search it right quick.
It's Brother Voodoo.
No, I was telling MJ to Google search it. I know it's Brother Voodoo.
I'll Google search it right now. But you
the homie. I was asking you a question though. Did you see what the cover of Strange Academy number 4 looks
it's Brother Voodoo. I did not.
Dude, it's basically it's got the whole class on it, but there's basically some windows that are normal, there's some windows that are like upside down, there's doors on the ceiling, and it basically on the cover, they're jumping through portals that are windows and doors and stuff, and apparently the solicitation says that they're playing like a gym, like it's part of their gym class, and they're playing like an ultimate game of hide and go seek, like with dimensions and stuff.
Neat.
I
feel like that's going to be a crazy issue.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff could happen. New characters potentially could get introduced if you're jumping dimensions and stuff. What'd MJ say?
He said, I stand corrected.
You're good, homie. It's all love. All right. Is this your This is your introduction.
To introduce.
But it was my pick.
Yeah, it was your pick, but it was a wonderful pick, Mac. I have to give that to you. And we have the Immortal Hulk, The Threshing Place. And this was a one-shot, wasn't it, Mac?
This is a one-shot.
And
But this is a one-shot that ties into Immortal Hulk.
Does it really?
Yeah, like
Does it
it
truly
doesn't.
tie in?
No, it doesn't really tie in as in like it picks up where issue 37 left off or anything like that. But this, we're dealing with not just the regular Hulk. We're dealing with the Immortal Hulk, and you could tell because this is bloody. It does get a little grotesque.
Is that the difference between the Immortal Hulk and the normal Hulk?
Well, Immortal Hulk was originally started and solicited as like a horror thriller version of Hulk.
Okay.
So, like, that's why, like, this Hulk has been about, like, mad scientists, and it's been darker, and, like, it's been about battling, Hulk's psyche and him really learning more about himself and stuff. It's been a darker thing. A lot of the covers have been, old homages, like this one, to Frankenstein and stuff like that. And so, they wanted to go for a more kind of spooky theme, or, like, scarier, grittier type theme with this Hulk run.
I really like how he looks in this one.
Yeah, like that just big, pronounced forehead.
Yeah, I feel like that really... Something about the way he looks here compared to, like, normal Hulk. Him killing people and just stepping on them, like, didn't seem wrong.
Dude, it's so weird that you say it just the way you did, because that's almost the way I thought about it. I was like, why don't I feel bad for these guys that Hulk's, like, rampaging through? Like, this man's just doing what he wants, and like
it's just weird the way he looks and everything in the book, because he looks just like he does on the cover, even though the cover is an homage to Frankenstein. Didn't you point that out on this one? I know you told me. I couldn't remember.
I had just said that.
Okay, but even though it's an homage, he looks like that in the book, and it's just something about when he's just going through and killing them. It's like, oh well, Hulk is doing what he's got to do.
And I think now that I really think about, like, just retrospectively, I really believe what they're going for with the way it makes you feel is you understand, since this has to do with, like, morality, and it is specifically about a child. I think that had us throw, like, all our care about, the well-being of other humans, even though they were in that. It makes sense. Hulk was originally based on Frankenstein's monster. Steve Joni, like your old homages comment. Oh yeah, for sure. That's a killer cover. I mean, I love the art on it, and I can't take full credit for knowing it was an homage, because that was something that Dad pointed out to me last week. But afterward, I went and looked at it and looked at them side by side, and I was like, oh, that's pretty close. The only thing that's not there is, like, the blood splatter that's on the side of Hulk's face on that one.
Yeah. But I really like this book. This was one of the best Hulk books I've read, and I haven't read a lot of them.
Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt. It's one of the best I've ever read, but it might be the best I've ever read. Honestly, I just really like the book.
Yeah, I mean, this Immortal Hulk series has been knock out of the park type nice. Like, people who aren't even Hulk fans have been coming out of the woodwork to subscribe to it and make sure they get it, have the whole run, find the number one, get the books graded. And that's another thing. Like, Al Ewing has been very, world building, not in the same sense of, like, James Tynion or, like, Jonathan Hickman, but he's, keeping it self-contained in the Hulk mythos, and he's been, introducing new characters, bringing back old characters from the original Hulk run, and it's just really, really cool to see a compilation of the old and new, with it also being a fresh new take, instead of being the typical campy type superhero stuff. It is, like I said, more horror, kind of edge of your seat type read.
I wouldn't even call this edge of your seat or horror.
Yeah.
This book in particular. This book
this one wasn't. Yeah, this one was just
like a pimple.
Yeah.
He just popped her out.
And you know what I like better?
What?
That specific scene, the popcorn is only there for that.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else is going to know what we're talking about unless you read this book. But there's a certain scene that otherwise, without the popcorn in the scene, would have been censored one way or another, either by a shadow or something else. But because the popcorn was right in front of the guy, or the woman, right in front of her, right when Hulk squeezed her body and her head popped, you see the popcorn box just, shoot up in the air, and popcorn goes everywhere, and it has the pop onomatopoeia. So I liked that because that was just one of those things that I felt like as the artist, that's just a small thing that you thought about, whether last second, put plenty of thought into, but that's just something that was really well placed.
Yeah, I really loved it. I loved so much of this book. But what would you rate it?
This one for me is, this one's easily a 4 because, like we said, you know, to be able to take this much enjoyment out of reading a one-shot tie-in, even if it be to, you know, an entire series, this was a killer read, and this is something that just purely based on the homage factor, if you're, you know, an older fan like my dad or like my Uncle Steven, then, like, shoot, like, pick this up and, you know, just put this as a little piece of art on your bookshelf or whatever, you know? This is cool.
MJ said he can already see it in his head. But I would give this a 4.5.
You would?
Just because I've never given a Hulk book a 4.5, and it's a one-shot, so I don't feel bad giving it a 1.5.
Yeah, and you do prefer to give the one-shots 4.5s or 5s.
I just love a one-shot. A really well-done one-shot, 4.5.
Yeah.
Well, 4.5, same thing.
I mean, because one-shots, while they happen pretty frequently in the comic industry,
yeah,
good ones, like you're saying, that are just really well illustrated, really well written, and just, you know, is a fan favorite character, don't come, like, those 3 different prongs don't hit that often on one book.
Yeah, like, this book is, what makes this book not a 5 is just the fact that I read it and I was satisfied. I didn't read it and want more.
Right,
so that leaves it at 4.5, not a 5.
I like that explanation.
A proper one shot that like makes you like, oh my god, I wish there was more of this coming. That could be a 5.
Definitely.
You know, that's a perfect one shot. But this doesn't. This is just a satisfying story.
I agree.
And Mr. Phillip asked if you've seen The Boys TV show.
I have not watched The Boys TV show. I actually have. You haven't told me to watch it, have you?
I have.
This friend's told me to watch it. My cousin Matthew, who works here in the shop, has told me to watch it. My dad says he wants to watch it and get Amazon Prime. And I've had probably 3 or 4 more other people who are regular denizens of Kessel Run Comics who have suggested that I read it, read it and watch it.
Yeah,
honestly.
We've read most of the second volume.
Yeah,
came out.
Yeah, but we read the first 3 or 4.
Yeah,
and it's up to 4 or 5 now.
Yeah, so we've read most of it, and I like it as a comic book, definitely. And I mean, I've seen the first 3 or 4 episodes of The Boys, and I think you should watch it.
The only episode I saw, the first 5 minutes of the first episode, and I was like, not for me. And that's not enough to really give something a fair shot.
Yeah.
So I need to go back and try again.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it was really that I was just taken back by the first 5 minutes. I was like, this is not what I was expecting. Like, I thought this was about to be superheroes, and it's not.
Yeah. The first time I tried to watch it, I sat down with my ex's family. Like,
yikes.
Yikes. All right, people, we're about to watch this one.
No. You couldn't have, like...
We got 15 minutes in, and I was like, no. We need to get this off.
There's too many, like, adult themes for me to feel comfortable not watching it with my girlfriend, but watching it with my girlfriend's family. Yeah. Like, especially because she had a younger brother. I was about to say, especially because she had a younger brother. That's just not... Yeah, no.
I've binge-watched all the way to the current episode in Season 2. Do you have any of the books?
I don't have the original series, but I do have what we were talking about, the sequel series, which just started releasing.
Which, if he's on volume
3 months ago,
he should be fine.
Yeah,
to read that. If he's on season 2.
Yeah, if you're on season 2, yeah, I think you'll be fine because the Boys show that's going on right now doesn't really have too much to do with the sequel comic series going on.
But you're caught up enough to understand it.
Right, yeah.
Because we've read it, and we never read the first volume, and I've only seen a couple episodes of the show recently after I've read it. And after you read the first 2 of the second volume, you just pick it up like it's nothing.
Yeah, I was about to say, the characters aren't hard to understand, their motives, their, just who they are, what makes them unique. And ultimately, you figure out, who's related to who and, who's in a relationship and all this stuff. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say that it's something that's hard to jump into at all.
Don't expect any of the heroes from the TV show to be in it, though.
I thought Huey was one of the,
He is one of them.
Yeah.
No, Huey's not a superhero.
Oh, he's not?
He's the guy whose girlfriend's murdered.
Oh.
That's Huey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now you understand.
See, I was about to say, that was just...
Huey and the guy that cuts the girl's tongue out, that's the guy in the trench coat from the show.
Gotcha.
Where the big guy.
I did know that.
Yeah. But, yeah, definitely. Like, you could definitely... Once I watched the show, the second volume clicked. A lot of little things like who Huey was and who Butch was. Butch?
I think his name's Butch.
Yeah, who Butch was and all of those. When they clicked, it made perfect sense. But it just clicked on a deeper level. It already clicked in the book. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you've seen it, you could pick up what we have in the shop. Fine. You know, you could pick it up, understand who everyone is and what's going on.
Definitely.
Hey, Zach.
So since we already threw some ratings on here, let's jump into some spec action. All right. One Piece. The piece that I found just on the fly. I have been hearing about this for probably 2 or 3 days at this point. It basically broke earlier in the week, I think on Tuesday. But there are rumors that are going around Lucasfilm that apparently Disney wants to use Darth Bane, the Sith that created the Rule of Two. You know, made it where there wasn't thousands of Sith the same way there was Jedi. There's not a Sith order. He just said there needs to be a master to wield the power or to hold the power, and there needs to be an apprentice to crave the power. And so that's kind of the way that Darth Bane really, you know, moved and changed the Star Wars mythos at large.
Yeah.
Was that he's the one that put in place the Rule of Two.
See, I just feel like I really can't give a proper opinion on that. Because I like Star Wars, but I don't really care about the Sith. You know?
Yeah.
Enough to, like, know about Darth Bane and all of those people. Do I think, like... I'd have to see how they're going to use them to judge it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's something that's been throwing through my head.
Then, I mean, cool. But if they're going to throw them in one of these video games they're making...
Yeah.
That would be cooler. You know?
You think it would be cooler to be in a game? I would
imagine
prefer...
being his apprentice.
I mean, that would be epic, but you'd be playing as a woman.
Okay, and?
I mean, that.
What are you, sexist?
No, I'm not sexist. That would be cool, and I mean, I've always thought, like, why not play as the female characters in video games rather than the male characters? Because, like, wouldn't you rather look at a woman than a man if you're a man?
I guess. Like, I mean, I don't know. They could always change that too.
Yeah, you could change that.
But see, make Starkiller a woman?
No. Whoa, no, I don't think you can make Starkiller.
Yeah, it's time we get a female lead role in a Star Wars video game.
And she would be awesome because she actually wields a double-sided lightsaber.
Nice.
So, yeah. And her lightsaber, I think, wasn't red. It was purple. So, that would be even cooler.
MJ wants to know if you think they would get Mark Hamill.
To just be, like, in the show or play Darth Bane. Because he did the voice work for Darth Bane in the Clone Wars TV show.
Yeah, I think that's why he's asking. If he was in a video game, if you think he would voice him.
If he was in a video game or an animated, I would hope that he would reprise his role because he did a really good job in just the 5-minute scene that we got in Season 6 of Clone Wars. But as far as, you know, if they're going to do, like, live action, then I would like it to be a completely unknown actor. Because Star Wars never really has the problem with casting unknown actors. Like, it doesn't matter. Star Wars is a big enough franchise that, you know, when they started their first 3 movies, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford even, that giant name was a nobody when Star Wars first aired. Like, you know, first was in the theater.
Yeah.
He had only had, like, 1 or 2 jobs before that. And Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher were completely unknown, and then, boom, blew up.
Nice.
Yeah, they got typecast a little bit, especially Mark Hamill. Like, the only real huge things Mark Hamill's done afterward is, like, voicing the Joker, doing his extra work. He's done, like, 2 or 3 different extra roles in Star Wars in addition to Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Like we were talking about the voicing of Darth Bane. But like you said, if they're going to introduce Darth Bane into the new Star Wars canon, because before he got put in Clone Wars, he was specifically just a Legends character. So since he's going to be included like really heavily into it, I would rather either see live action or I would rather see something in the comics or novels.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, you could do some stuff with a game, but the chance that they really focus on the Sith as a whole for a game, or, like, have some sort of old, you know, High Republic type age game and have Darth Bane be a part of it, that could kind of be cool.
So you don't think they could do a Force Awakens, but with the Sith?
Yeah.
Has Darth Bane's apprentice?
Yeah, they could.
To her? You're reporting to him on your little missions?
It would be awesome, but personally, this is my selfish coming out, is I really would like them to introduce Darth Bane back through the comics. Because his first appearance was in the comics.
I'd rather hunt down Jedis. I feel like that'd be the only way I would take that information in and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because like I wouldn't read the comics unless they were on the top 5.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But I still want to buy The Force Awakens and play it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, ultimately, I'm game for whatever it is, whether it's movie, TV. I was about to say, more Star Wars is always pleasant news to me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our only piece of spec for the night. If you have any more questions, then please, I love answering just off-the-cuff stuff here on the podcast. So if you want any more questions answered, just shoot. If it's a question that's more Jacob's alley, like a Booster Gold or like a Harley Quinn or something, hey, hit up Ske11y Boy on Instagram. Or
definitely.
If you want to ask me more about Star Wars stuff or anything that you think I might have a little more knowledge about, then hit me up on Kessel Run Comics. You're already here. But, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, that was our last piece of spec. This has been a delicious 37th podcast. I've enjoyed recording it, and I've enjoyed being with Jakob and all of you guys at home. Thank you for watching, and as I said last week, we hope you'll be here next week. This is Macedellic and
Ske11y Boy.
signing out. Later.